crazy to dig your way out there during the tough times. The fact of the matter is they did it. What happened?
Man, I think just collectively those guys just got back on the same page. We've got really good kids. Obviously, we got really good players, and they just got back in sync. It's a long season. You go. I mean, we're together basically all summer. Basketball you're practicing in September, all the way now until late March, hopefully early April, and so basically in a 31-game stretch. We've had so many different teams this year. We had the team of 8 guys for about a third of the year. And then we had, trying to bring a team together when we had a full roster, and without Solomon and Prentice. And then, so we're 18-5, 19-6, and then we go through a 3-week stretch of, and it says 3 weeks, 6 games that we're just not very good. And, a couple games worse than other. A couple games we just kind of got beat up. Some games we just didn't play well at all. And, we just didn't have an identity. But I really think it goes back to offensively from a standpoint, we've always got to play with pace. We've always got to share the ball, keep the floor space. But the core of it comes down to we just weren't very good defensively. The three-point line, the glass, everything defensively was just not very good. We dropped from the bottom, from top 20 in the country in defense late January to probably now we're back in the 50s or 60s, but that has a lot to do with how we played in Kansas City. But Kansas City, we had an identity. We had an identity on both ends of the floor, and we got to have an identity here if we're going to beat Ohio State tomorrow.
The freshmen have played very well so far. What gives you the confidence that they will continue to play well in the biggest stage of their lives?
They're great players. I mean, I think that we got really good players. They're good kids. They're humble. Whether it's Tyrese, Talon, George in his minutes, how good was he coming off the bench against Kansas when his number was called? First half he was terrific, and he gave us unbelievable energy. And then if Zion's number is called, Zion's got to be ready as well. But those guys, Kansas City helps you prepare you for this. Obviously, there's more at stake now because you're playing for a national championship. All we're playing for tomorrow night is just to win one game to get to the round of 32. We'll have a great fan base behind us again, which is a great part of being in this city in Tulsa. But I joked about the little motorcycle before the game with Tyrese. Talon will be ready, Tyrese will be ready. And if anybody else's number's called, of young guys, they'll be ready. I mean, we're 34 games in now. We've won a conference championship tournament last week, so these guys are seasoned now.
Steve, how do you assess this Ohio State team after you've got to watch more tape?
Yeah, I've watched a bunch now. Obviously, Chris has done a really good job at Butler when he was at Butler, and then now at Ohio State, back-to-back years right away in the NCAA tournament. He was, I think it was 4 seed last year. Now this year, an 11 seed. But, everything kind of goes through, Caleb Wesson. That's just, how they like to play. A lot of ball screen motion, a lot of isolations trying to get the ball inside. But they post more than just Caleb. They'll post Andre. They'll post Woods. Andre Wesson, that is. They'll post Woods. We've got to be great in our half-court defense. We can't give him anything easy in transition. We've got to be great in our half-court defense with our post defense and ball screen coverage. And then we have to give them one play so we can get the pace going. We can play off misses, get the playing in transition, speed the game up a little bit. But, I think Andre Wesson and Woods are playing really well right now. I think C.J. Jackson is a very good player, shoots almost 40% from 3. I think those are 4 of the key guys tomorrow night. And then they've got some other guys. But they got a young group, too. Like, we have four freshmen. They've got a bunch. They got Muhammad. They've got they got Muhammad. They got Aarons off the bench, the shooter. A couple guys recruited, Ladie, the kid from Houston. And then I'm missing one more that's a big key for them. But, they've got 3 or 4 freshmen that are, Dwayne Washington. And those guys, we recruited Washington, we recruited Ladie, and we recruited Aarons. And so we're familiar with some of those guys.
Was it beneficial for you to see Condit give you those minutes against Kansas, just knowing the post presence that Ohio State's going to have?
Yeah, and people ask me, well, who does Caleb remind you of? And the only guy that's in our league is just from a standpoint is Azubuike, and that's just because of the physicality. He is so big. And I haven't seen him in person yet. I'm just going off of film. But, I mean, if you get above him, he's going to ride you up. If you get below him, he's going to bury you under the rim. And so we really got to be smart with our post coverage. How we want to guard him, is going to be key. But he's got great size, and that's going to be a big key.
Has Mike become more of a vocal leader the last 2-3 weeks?
I think so. I think he's tried to a little bit. But I think all the guys are. I mean, Mariel, Nick. I think all those guys are trying to take a step, in that direction. And we've been, Mariel's been out a little bit this week, Zoran practice-wise, so we've been limited a little bit in practice from a standpoint of being around, 8 guys. Where a lot of stuff has been 4-on-4 more so than 5-on-5 this week. But I think all the guys' energy's been really good.
Had that been missing, a vocal leader, a little bit? You think a guy that'll
Yeah,
kind of
I mean, you
keep people
gotta,
accountable?
you gotta have that. I mean, everybody leads different ways. I mean, you got the leader that just does right and kind of like you follow him. You got the vocal leader. You got one that does a little bit of both. And so we all got to get uncomfortable at times. And so, but I thought they were all vocal and dialed in last weekend. And that was from the very beginning, from the Baylor game. Because the Baylor game, I mean, we're down at the 10-minute mark the first half, so it wasn't like you just came off and you're up 18. And so Kansas State, we had to weather some storms. And in Kansas, we had to fend them off a couple times. And I thought we showed really good character all weekend.
Tally still questionable?
He practiced today, contact for the first time. And so that's why I say today, was the first time we had him and Mariel both out there. So as I said, most of this week we've just been around 8 guys.
So he's a go tomorrow, probably, Tally?
Should be a go. Should be a go tomorrow. I'll know more from tomorrow, but should be a go. At least dressed in uniform, ready to in case we need him.
Do you feel comfortable playing him, or he's been out for however long?
Yeah, I don't know. It just depends. Probably how the game goes, what we need, just because he's been out for a little bit. But I thought he practiced well today. He understands the coverages that we need to do to defend them. And I thought when he's been in there the last couple weeks, when he got in there, I thought he had a good defensive presence.
How did you regroup this team, being as young as they are, to make sure that they came back down from that high?
Yeah, that's the one thing I was talking to Matt. We were walking back from the media, and we really only got one guy that's got like extensive NCAA tournament experience. As I walked to the locker room, you look around. I mean, we got a young group. I mean, we got a ton of freshmen and sophomores, and then Nick Babb, obviously, this is his third out of fourth year being in the NCAA tournament, but now he's got a major role. And Mariel's always had a pretty big role, but everybody else, George, Taylor, Tyrese, Zion, you go down the line, Cameron, Lindell, Mike, that's 7, 8 guys I just named right there that this is new for them. But they'll be ready to go. There was no like magic speech or, I think these guys just understood that, hey, guys, we got a chance to be good. We can't let any more opportunities waste. When the season reset and ended, I think they changed. And they talked, and they've been really good since. I think our practice has been good, and obviously Kansas City, we played really well.
Steve, on the topic of Mike, have you seen an extra edge out of him, and maybe where did he get it from?
I mean, I think that's what we knew we were getting when we recruited him, and he's been really good from he is what he is from a standpoint. We need toughness, we need post defense, we need rebounding. The scoring is just kind of extra with him. We need to throw the ball some inside, keep people honest, but he had 16 rebounds against Kansas State. That's the best stat line he's had all year.
Where do you think, or do you think, being a Central Iowa kid, local kid, do you think that means a little bit more to him to have
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of pride in playing for Iowa State. I think it's huge. I think it's great for him and his family. I'm sure they're loving this right here, but this is the best time of the year, and I think this is why he transferred to Iowa State to play in the NCAA tournament. Now he's a Big 12 champion. That stuff's huge. That's irreplaceable.
How much do you let Mariel and Nick just kind of talk to the young guys about this environment and what this is like comparatively?
Yeah, maybe they'll talk to them on their own. I won't make a point of saying anything. These guys have watched this on TV enough. We'll go out there, and this is like our first. Like yesterday is quiet around the hotel. Today there's really nothing going on. We practiced. We're over at Tulsa. Everything's been quiet. Now we finally started to get some of the NCAA tournament feel over here because we're about to go on the floor, and that'll be really good for our guys to enjoy with our fans and see the court. They'll be ready to go, and they may have some nerves the first 5-10 minutes, but that's not going to win or lose us the game.
What do the players do for Lord knows how many hours tomorrow?
Go to the A-Loft, hang out with you. Today they got to sleep in. We took them to dinner last night. Yesterday was quick. Got off the plane. We had to change quick to go to practice. Then we watched tape, went to a nice dinner. And then today, sleep in, breakfast, film, and then we practiced. And then now we're over here. We got media. We got a little shoot around, and then we'll go back and rest of the night, kind of relax at the hotel. But we'll watch film together. We'll meet one more time as a team tonight. Tomorrow again's another kind of sleep-in day, and you know, watch film in the morning because we got a long day, shoot around, and then we got a long afternoon where probably watch a little bit more tape, and then, you know, watch games at the whole.
You let them watch games?
Yeah, shoot, they need to. And, you know, I told them, though, man, when we throw the ball up, there's only going to be 36 teams in the country left playing. And you're one of those 36, and we just got to try to get to one of 32.
Last week when you guys played Kansas, it seemed like the guards did a good job as much as the big guys did with Lawson not letting him get the ball.
Yep.
Is that important with Weston?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to have that same Kansas rules, really, from a post standpoint. You know, you can't let them get above you, can't let them get below you. You got to be physical as heck. And so we played guys like that, you know. So we've got a good feel on that. We just got to do it. Like we did it we did it in Ames against Lawson. We did it in Kansas City against Lawson. We didn't do it in Lawrence. So we just got to be dialed in the physicality that we have to play with.
Bring in two freshmen, two transfers. You know, what does it take from a guy like Nick to make all this work through the different groups that he's played with over his years?
Well, you know, his first couple years, you know, he was kind of sophomore year. He was, you know, 7th, 8th man. Played on a really good team with a lot of experience, and so he was kind of in the backdrop. Last year he was hurt, you know, kind of really the second half of the year. But this year, obviously, he's a tremendous leader. Very, 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 very good. As good of a high basketball IQ as I've been around. Really has a good feel for what we want and what we need. And like I said, you know, when I first got the job, I think he's as talented as anybody I've coached come through here with his size and athleticism and his ability to understand the game.
Coach, what impresses you about a guy like Lindell, the talent that he has, the year that he had last year, and he's asked to come off the bench for you and provide that spark?
Yep.
And it's something that was definitely difficult, but he's
he's a starter. Everybody knows he's a starter. It's just, you know, we got off to a really good start, and, you know, it's just trying to figure out a way to make the change, and just never really kind of fell in line that way. And so met with him, and, you know, he bought into it, and he got 6th man of the year, ironically, and he had great games off the bench, which helped us win. The great thing about bringing him off the bench is we're bringing a scoring punch off the bench that not all the teams have. But he's playing starter minutes, and the biggest thing and the best thing is the Big 12 tournament. He's all tournament. Kansas game, he had the ball down in hands down the stretch. He made great plays, and then when we won, it's the happiest I've ever seen him in the 2 years I've known him, or 2 years that I've coached him, and that was really cool to see. And I expect him to play really well this weekend.
Coach, when looking at Ohio State, what sticks out to you when scouting Caleb Weston?
Man, just his size. I mean, they do a great job trying to get him to the ball, not just trying to isolate him, but they try to get him the ball off pick and roll, get you in rotation so he can get angles when you've got to help. And so we've got to be really detailed and attentive to ball screen defense, post defense, and then keeping them off the glass. But he's obviously a huge key, but I think they've got more pieces that are older guys like Woods and Jackson that we've got to be dialed in on as well. And then some other guys that can hurt you. Andre Weston's playing really well right now. You look at his last 5 games, he's been terrific. And they're similar to us in a ways. They're playing a lot of young guys too. I mean, they've got Muhammad that plays as a freshman. I said Aaron's that plays some, Dwayne Washington, and then Ledee a little bit. Most of those guards play a lot more than Ledee. And so Weston is a major, major key. Everybody knows that. But we've got to do a great job of defending the right guys from 3 and then only giving them one chance at the shot.
Is there anybody